Hello, friends. I'm Heidi with Onigo Stamping, and welcome to my craft corner. Hello, Heather. So glad you are here. If you are here and watching me live, welcome. Go ahead and leave me a comment. Let me know where you're watching from. Let me know if you have already gotten your new mini catalog and Sale-A-Bration catalog, because I have been hearing that they are starting to arrive in people's mailboxes. So that is super, super exciting. If you're watching the replay, welcome to you as well. Go ahead and leave me a comment. Let me know that you watched the replay. I love to know that people were here later and caught the replay of this video. So hello, welcome. So glad you guys are all here. I'm excited for night 2 of my Celebrate the New Year. I'm doing 8 nights of lives, taking the weekend off. Vicki, your catalogs are here. That's awesome. Great. Good to hear. So I'm doing eight nights of lives to highlight the different items in the Sale-A-Bration catalog. And if you are brand new to Stampin' Up! And you don't know anything about Sale-A-Bration, let me tell you, it is the best sale of the year. For every $50 that you order, you're going to get to pick an item free from the Sale-A-Bration brochure, or a $100 order. So there's some items that are a $50 order. There are some items that are a $100 order, and those stack up. So if you order 150, you're going to get to choose multiples, right? So they just keep growing and growing and growing. Oh, good, Fauna, you got your catalogs. And hello, Robin in Florida. Great to have you here. So that is one way that you can earn freebies during Sale-A-Bration. The other great thing about Sale-A-Bration, it is a perfect time to get the Stampin' Up! Starter Kit. Now, when you join Stampin' Up! In January or February, you are going to be able to choose $175 worth of products, anything you want from the current catalogs. Unfortunately, it doesn't include the Sale-A-Bration items, but it's only $99 for $175 worth of products that you choose, and you get free shipping on that. Plus, if you want to add a mini cut and emboss machine, you're going to be able to do that for $30 to your starter kit. So you can get, I think it's a $129 starter kit with a mini cut and emboss machine. It really is. It is a fabulous deal. It's one of the best specials that I have seen that Stampin' Up! Has offered for their starter kit. So it's going to be fantastic. And all this starts next week, Thursday, January 4th. So I talked enough. I'm going to go ahead and get started. Oh, Diana, I'm so glad that you got your catalogs too. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to flip my cameras around. And I'm going to show you what I got sitting on my table tonight. So here we are going to be working with the favored, let me see if I say this right, the Favored Flowers Designer Series paper. Now this is a 12 by 12 Designer Series paper. I just cut it down to 6 by 6 so that it can fit in the screen a little bit better. Yes, Jamie, you are right. The Ultimate Bundle is the greatest deal. That starter kit really is the great deal. And $175. Normally you get to pick 125. So that's an extra $50 free. It's amazing. All right, this is the Favored Flowers Designer Series paper. One side has all of these gorgeous flowers on a black background. Aren't they pretty? They're in Calypso Coral, Petal Pink, Blackberry Bliss. And then the leaves are all Mossy Meadow and Forest Foliage. So just really, really pretty flowers. And then on the other side, you have fantastic patterns in Blackberry Bliss, Forest Foliage, and Mossy Meadow, Petal Pink, Mossy Meadow, Calypso Coral, and Fresh Freesia. So really, really pretty papers. And they are so much fun to work with. Now, they do have a coordinating stamp set, and that is the Fragrant Flowers stamp set. And if you have your mini catalog, it is on page 21. Now, I do not have that stamp set, so we're going to be using something different tonight. What I'm going to be using, let me pull this out, is I'm going to be using the Amazing Thanks die set, which has, basically it says you are amazing and thanks in dies. And there's a kind of a bubbly outline die and then like a tighter, I don't want a tight script die. I don't know what to call it. Anyway, they layer on top of each other. You're going to see it. This is in the regular catalog. I'm going to be using that. And I'm also pulling in the Kind and Sincere stamp set. This is in the new mini catalog, and it has these great big congratulations, thanks, kind. And then what I'm going to use are some of these smaller sentiments that go along with the big sentiment. So it works really well with the thanks that's in the Amazing Thanks die set. Whew, if I can speak tonight. All right. So let me show you what I already got. I pre-cut a couple things. So I have a piece of the Designer Series paper. This is 5.5 by 4.25. So it's going to fill the entire front of our card base. And then I have a piece, another piece of the Designer Series paper. Now this I cut with the stitched rectangles dies. Hello, Kelly, and hi, Mom, welcome. I cut this with the stitched rectangle dies, and then I cut a piece of petal pink. The petal pink is, let me tell you for sure, 3 1/8 by 4.5. And that is going to go right under this piece that I cut with the stitched rectangle dies, and it just leaves a little tiny border all the way on the outside. So we have those. Then, let me see. See if I have all my pieces. I'm going to use a forest foliage base. This is going to get completely covered with our Designer Series paper, but I like that dark color under there. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I have a couple of scrap pieces of petal pink here. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out my stitched rectangle dies, and I'm going to take this one. This is the second to the largest of the skinny ones, if I can get it out. So there's kind of two, well, I guess 3 sizes. There's the bigger ones, and then there's the skinny ones. And this is the second to the largest of the skinnier ones. And I actually want to cut this out of a little piece of petal pink. So I'm going to use my mini cut and emboss machine because it fits a little bit better in the camera. And I'm going to start with my number 1 plate. And then I'm going to put a number 2 cutting plate on top of that. And then my paper and my die. I'm putting those at kind of just a little bit of an angle. That's going to help it get started. And then I'll put another number 2 plate on top. And actually, this is my cutting plate. I messed up. I always use the same cutting plate. That way, when my cutting plate finally wears out, I move my top plate down to the cutting plate. And it just kind of, I don't know, I think it makes things last longer. Maybe not. It keeps one of the plates a little bit smoother because when you are using something like a foil or something, the cuts in the cutting plate can leave a little bit of an impression or dents in some of your softer materials. So, all right, so I just slid that through. And that's going to give us a little petal pink rectangle. I'm just going to set that aside because next I want to take another piece of petal pink and I'm going to grab those Amazing Thanks dies. And I want to use the big bubbly thanks and the skinny inside thanks. And I'm going to start by cutting the big bubbly one from a little piece of this piece of petal pink. Just kind of move some stuff out of the way. We'll run this through my mini cut and emboss machine. Now this is the little machine. It's super handy for traveling if you like to travel. It's also great just for keeping on your desk, especially I know some people don't have a spot right next to them for their die cutting machines. So this little mini one is nice just to keep right next to you. It doesn't fit everything, but it fits a lot. So I cut that out of the petal pink. Now I will let you know, I pre-cut 2 more of those. So I have 3 of those. And then I'm going to take a piece of, this is just a little bit too big. I'm just going to go ahead and trim this down. This is just a scrap of the forest foliage. Scissors back where they go. And then this one I'm going to use the inside thanks. If I can pick it up. I'm having troubles picking things up today. Oh, hello, Megan. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you were able to catch me live. So we're just going to do this little inside thanks again, just layering up my little sandwich here. And I put it at a little bit of an angle to help it start a little bit easier. And then we'll just roll that through too. You guys can see it coming out the other side. This is really hard to do on camera. All right. That is all the die cutting I am doing. Oh, you know what I did? I got a little bit off. That's okay. We're just going to go with it. It bumped just a little bit. Oh, no. Well, it caught just a sliver off the top of that K, but it's fine. It is just fine. All right, so I'm going to start layering these up. I have a whole bunch of the petal pink. Well, I have 3 of the petal pink, a whole bunch. Three is a whole bunch. So we'll just take out those little centers. And then I am using the fine tip glue tonight. You could use your regular multi-purpose glue. I like the fine tip glue because the tip is a little bit skinnier. It's easier to get the glue where you want it. So just going to start by putting this on one piece of the pink. And I'm going to go ahead and layer another one on top of this. And I'm just doing this to give it some extra dimension. Okay. Sometimes when you have really thin dies, it's hard to get dimensionals on them. So just cutting some extras and layering those up instead. I have a bubble. Is an easy way to get the dimension on there. And it gives it kind of a neat look too, I think. So here's our third one going on top of this. Just gives us a nice stack of die cuts. And then I'm going to take the skinny things. Let's pop out the little centers in there. And this one I'll put the glue on the skinnier one because we don't want to put it on that thick one because then it might not be in the right spot. So this is definitely where this fine tip glue makes it just a little bit easier because it's really skinny and you can get it in some of these skinny areas. So now what you will find with this thinner things is that these words kind of tend to, I don't know how you say it. They change shape a little bit, right? They're going to stretch out a little bit or scrunch up a little bit just because they're so thin. So you just kind of put them in the right spot on your bigger dies. Sometimes you don't know what you need till you see it in action. That's very true. With the fine tip glue, there's a little tiny pin that you have to get that right back in that fine tip, and that keeps the glue from hardening in your glue tip. Okay. All right. So this is eventually going to go on this petal pink. Now, what I also want to do is I have a stamp from that Sincere and Kind. It says so very much. And I'm going to grab my Evening Evergreen. Did I say forest foliage earlier? I think I did. It's Evening Evergreen. I don't know why. Sometimes, you guys, I do that. I pull out old names and they get stuck in my head. And I'm pretty sure I put that on the blog post for these cards too. So gonna have to go change that. Evening Evergreen right there. So it says so very much. And then we can start building this. So let's start putting this together. Got my Evening Evergreen base. I'll go ahead and grab some multi-purpose glue. And again, like I said, this piece is 5.5 by 4.25. So it is going to cover the entire card front. Now I do have a couple more samples to show you too. So make sure you hang around for a bit here. And then I'm going to adhere this die cut piece, another piece of the favored flowers. I don't know why this name does not stick in my head. Hello, Jude. Welcome. You love the color combo. These are great colors I picked out. And I love that it is on kind of a black background. So it's just really dramatic. Right. All right. So this is going to go on that petal pink. Get it all kind of in the right spot. This is why I like the multi-purpose glue, because you can kind of move stuff around just a little bit. And then this is going to go on my card front. We'll put this, let me see, do I want it like this? Maybe do I want, I don't know. I can't decide which way I want up. We'll put it like this. So this is just going to go in the center. And again, that petal pink was 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. Kind of a weird size because it's based on the size of the die from the stitched rectangle dies. And then I'm going to take this other petal pink piece that I cut with the stitched rectangle dies. And this is going to go right in here. Kind of a little bit more towards the top. I kind of, put it a little bit off center. And then we're going to take this thanks. Now I could pull out my fine tip glue again. I'm just going to use the multi-purpose glue here. So we're just going to put a little bit of glue on there. And then I'm going to pop this on kind of at an angle. Give it a fun flair to it. Isn't that cool? All right, now to top this off, because we're going to add just a little bit of bling, let's grab some champagne rhinestones, which I love the champagne rhinestones with the petal pink. I think it is perfect. I'm just going to go ahead and use my take your pick tools to pick some of these up. Just, let me see. And sometimes I pick them back up and move them. All right, there we go. Just 3 little rhinestones on there. And there is our finished card. That's what that from. Isn't that pretty? Oh, and so easy with that pattern paper. Isn't it great? And you can get this pattern paper free with a $50 order starting January 4th. Let me show you the couple other samples I have. So here's another one. This uses that same thanks. This time I cut it out in Fresh Freesia and Blackberry Bliss. And this, I cut a bunch of the flowers out from the designer series paper and just kind of layered those up there on top of kind of the same, layer here. This, I didn't use the stitch rectangle dies, but it's basically the same shape, and just kind of created a center area and then added those flowers to it. So super fun. And then this one, very similar as well, but this one, this Just For You, comes from the new Sentimental Park stamp set. So the Sentimental Park stamp set, and then the U is from that same amazing Thanks die set. Which set did Thanks come from? So the big die cut Thanks, that's in the Amazing Thanks die set. And then the So Very Much is in the Kind and Sincere stamp set from the new mini catalog. And the Just For You is from the Sentimental Park stamp set in the new mini catalog. This is a lot of remembering for me. And then I added a little bit of the Garden Green twine from the new 3 twine combo pack underneath there, just for kind of something fun. So those are my 3 cards with that gorgeous Favored Flowers designer series paper. And it is so pretty. It is perfect for adding big, bold sentiments to. And like I said, it does match the Fragrant Flowers stamp set, which has really big sentiments in it too. So if you have your mini catalog already, go ahead and take a look at that. That's on page 21. But just because, it coordinates with that stamp set, wanted to show you that you definitely don't have to use that stamp set with it. There are lots and lots of other sentiment stamp sets that are going to work awesome with this designer series paper. All right. Hi, Deb. Welcome. Glad you were here, even though you're a little bit late. All right. Thank you all for joining me tonight. I hope that you will stop by again tomorrow night. I will be live again at 8 p.m. Eastern. And tomorrow I'm going to be using the Adorable Owls stamp set. So I'm really excited. That one is Super cute. You guys, I just love everything. You're going to find that out. I pretty much love everything. So I'm really excited to use the Adorable Owls stamp sets tomorrow night. Now, don't forget, if you want a little bit of all of the pattern papers that are in the new mini catalog, you're going to want to sign up for my paper share, or you can also sign up for the ribbon and embellishment share, or you can sign up for both. The link to those is in the description to this video on YouTube, or you can just pop over to my website, onigostamping.com, and you're going to find it there. So thank you guys so much for joining me, and I will see you again tomorrow night. Have a great evening.